Alright, welcome to 25X Trading. It's 10:30 a.m. and today is, let's see, Friday, November 21st. And I got a late start this morning, so it's a no trade day. I was watching Bitcoin last night and I was fascinated by it, the drop, so I ended up staying very late yesterday. So I missed out today, so that was my fault. So sometimes when I'm running late, it just doesn't happen. We had other traders that eventually will be doing the commentary on this daily, but for now, since we've basically started, I'm really the main focus of the traders. So that's where we're at. But we do have other traders that will be joining us and going over this on a daily basis as well. So with the no trade, where we're going to do is basically close out the week.
So we're into it for 300
We're up
shares
636.80 a week.
Like I said, I got greedy twice.
Comes out to about 21%,
both times with
$100,
which was
not a bad week. We started at
$3,000.
We finished at $36.37. So with the no trade day, that's going to drop us down to where the difference was $324. But starting Monday, since we did nothing today, it's going to drop us down to $258, the difference where we should be and where we are. Okay, so we're going to consider this as zero, even though it's a no trade day. Instead of just skipping it, we said it's 200 days through our goal. So it's 200 days, 200 trading days. It's not, if we miss a day, we miss a day. It happens. There's nothing we can do about it. Okay, so but what this will do is we'll put a zero in here. And say, okay, we didn't make money today.
Big problems.
And come
right now, it's holding it.
11:22 or
bid right now,
11:24. What'll happen is that our difference will be 258. So we will lower our stop loss to about $200. So we still stay positive.
Come on,
but
you got to get
our stop loss will be lowered. And
like
I said, it happens. What are you going to do?
I sold a couple 30s.
Our leverage amount will still be $90,000 roughly, and our stop loss will be lowered down to about 360, give or take. So, what is 25x trading? I've had several people ask me that, and what we are is we are representing capital for true proprietary trading.
So I'm not going to lie. That was what we call.
What we are not is we are not
in a huge way.
So firm.
Now
there's a huge difference between the two. Okay,
we're basically almost hitting our stop loss.
When you're a prop trading firm,
10%.
all you're doing is basically giving a fake video game.
$100.
This is true capital, and you are truly trading the market.
When you get greedy, this is what ends up happening.
That's the biggest difference.
So
that's why
I'm not
when you sign up,
here
it's your account.
Smart.
You're alive from day one whenever you want to trade. You can trade as much as you want. You can trade as little as you want. There are no rules or restrictions of how you want to trade. You can trade with any guru you want.
Roughly by
whatever you feel like doing.
It's not the end of the
if
world.
you follow a certain stock trader, so be it. Follow him. We watch CNBC. We watch other channels to get insight into who's trading what. There's several people out there that we love. You know what I'm saying? That we get a lot of information from. We have a lot of newsletters that we go over. So that's constant. So who you want to trade with and what strategy you want to trade with, that doesn't matter to us.
Absolutely,
you can trade pre-market. You can trade post-market.
It's not catching.
Always like it because things happen, and we'll go into that.
Absolute fucking idiot.
Now, at the same time, depending on what you want to do,
anybody says that you have to.
That's where we help to help you growth. Okay.
This is just
if you go into our website, it'll tell you that we're basically giving you 25 times your initial investment. Okay. There is no PDT rule. You have direct access to the ECN. So there are no order flow restrictions. You're not paying for order flows. Trade as much or as little as you want. Okay. When we say PDT, no pattern day trader restrictions. You don't need $25,000 You can trade as much as you want or as little as you want. With PDT, it's 3 trades in 5 business days. You can do whatever you want. You can trade any stock,
when you look at the
future,
consensus,
index, or
you have to
commodities.
say,
So
where's the market
a lot of
value
these
in your opinion?
retail
today,
proprietary
I
firms,
had a
they limit
feeling
you
it was
where
down.
they will
Like I said,
not let
I'm
you
not gonna,
trade equities.
sugarcoat
And the
it.
reason
We
why
have
is
$100
because it's
twice,
much
okay?
more
We
sophisticated
traded
for them to
very
create a
poorly
video
today.
game that does that. And that's what you're
with
doing.
Palantir, I lost $100
We offer
because I
trades
wasn't looking at
opportunity
shares.
when you
I
open a
basically
new
went long
account.
on something I was supposed to go short. I
Basically,
made a
you
mistake.
take the time,
On AMD,
and now when it
twice
says
I
open
could've
your
gotten
trading
out there
account,
with $100 profit.
what we're asking for is your information.
Closed it out, bought it, closed
Simple
it
as
out,
that.
bought it.
Okay.
But instead, I wanted
that's
more,
all we're asking
you know,
for.
and
When
that's
you do
the
that,
problem, is
great.
when you want more,
We have
this is
traders
what
that
ends
sign
happening.
up.
So now I'm
And
sitting,
when you
I'm
put in
sitting
the
here
information there,
trying
we'll send you out
to
all the
save my
information
ass
that
on
you
something
need.
that's probably
okay?
gonna fucking stop me out.
Here you
So,
can go
you
through
know
all
what?
the accounts.
This is
And
fucking
again,
bullshit.
it's choose your
okay?
plan, get an idea
and-
what you're looking for, and we'll send you out the
You
information.
can't look at it
We'll
any
sign
other
you
way
up.
except for that this
The
is
one
fucking
thing we
bullshit,
do is we
okay?
do trader identification to make sure that it's a trader and everything is legitimate. You know, we are a legitimate firm and we want legitimate
Fuck
traders.
me, you
We don't want to be
stupid
funneling
shit.
money out for anybody.
You stupid
We don't want to be washing
motherfucker,
money
man,
for
seriously.
anybody. So we're very careful about that. So, you know, we want to make sure it's done the right way. Okay. And that's part of what we do. So you pick where you think you'll start. You know, if it's $10,000, go there, put the information in there. Tell us what your experience is, and we will send the information out to you. If you need more information, we could set up a Zoom call. We could set up Teams, whatever you feel comfortable. Telephone call, you know, if we're going back. To find out more about what we do, go up into this corner, click our YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel will be more than happy. You'll see that we're adding videos every day, and we talk about what a prop trading firm is, how to log in. All right. Yeah, we didn't trade today, so the VPN just actually shut off on us, and you'll learn more about what the VPN does. So, you know, find out about it. Take your time. Okay. Learn more. You know what it does. You know how we basically help you. How did we get started? That's a question people ask us all the time. We've been trading for a long, long time. Every one of us. Okay. We've been trading well in excess of 25 to 30 years each. Okay. So and we have our ideas behind it. We have our strategies. We don't profess to be any geniuses at all. We've made livings doing it, but you know, just like anybody, we've seen a ton of people come and go. But we also know what a professional trader is and what professional trading firms are. And we were there back in the day where, you know, to sign up for a proprietary trading firm, you needed a degree. You needed to have some brains behind it, you know what I'm saying? They wanted you to actually have some mathematical skills with you because that's what this game is all about. And then, you know, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago, retail prop firms started becoming really, really a niche thing. And what a retail prop trading firm is it's actually someone came up with I don't know who, okay, but I don't know what the first retail prop trading firm was. They came up with the idea that they're going to make the entry into quote-unquote trading so much cheaper that we're going to say you take a test for $600, $700, $300, $200, and it's come down steadily. The more prop firms that are out there, retail prop firms, if you pass this test, we're going to fund you for X amount of dollars, $25,000, $50,000, $60,000, whatever it is, because the entry level. The entry barrier, that's always been the question. You know, can you get that much of capital together? Well, in a true proprietary trading firm, is what they would do is they would actually hire you. Okay, you would get hired with a job, and the job would be X amount of time and a probationary period. And in that probationary period, you would trade in a simulator. And they would pay you during that time. based off of, you would literally just get a salary. You'd make a small bonus depending on what your profit potential was, but you were not making big money at all. So the probationary period could be anywhere from 3 months to probably 6 or 7 months. After that, if you really weren't out of the probationary period, you would get fired. No two ways around it. If you were not showing steady growth at that point, then you would get canned. So that's how a lot of the real prop firms work, proprietary firms worked on the street. After that, then you would have access to real capital. And eventually, when you had access to that real capital, you had a drawdown. And they would give you X amount of time to make money. Now, you can go month to month to month not making money, but you're not going to keep your job. Simple as that. And they would give you a drawdown, and if that drawdown went too far, you would lose your job. So you learn to protect your capital, and you learn to basically make sure that what you were doing was going to be the right thing. Again, my dog, he doesn't care. He'll just bark whenever he feels like it. He's insane. So one thing you have to remember is that, okay, when you're working for a true proprietary trading firm, is that you have their capital. There are stops issued automatically. They shut you down at a certain point, and you have to make a living. If you go all week and you draw zero, you draw zero. That's how you're making your living. You do not have a salary at that point. At that point, they're like, well, it's not working, okay? What end up happening is that they started looking at retail proprietary trading firms, and they started becoming prevalent. And what happened was that they found out that there was 1,000 times more people, 10,000 times more people who were willing to risk $500 on a lotto ticket. And they would say, oh yeah, if you think you can do it, we'll back you. Okay, so people would take their quote-unquote prop trading test to pass. The rules were absolutely insane on some of these things, and we're going to get into that. We'll talk about that. Some of these rules were, oh yeah, you can only trade between this time and that time. You can't trade on news. You can't trade on this, and the rules were bad enough as it is. They stack it because obviously there are things that happen and people know it. And, they don't want to just say, okay, fine, we're going to have everybody quote unquote pass. So it would have to be that, I've seen some of the craziest rules where you would look at it and you're like, yeah, you have to have 3 days in a row of at least 2% or 3%. You can't just get, pass your prop firm in one day. It goes on and on and on, right? So one day I decided to sign up for a prop firm. I'm a trader. Oh yeah, no problem. I want to see what this is all about. I've been doing it, and I just wanted to get an idea. What is the deal with this? So I signed up for a retail prop firm, and I'll tell you the name of it, but it's embarrassing actually. And I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, this is insane. It's absolutely insane. So I'm making money. Not a lot, because I'm trying to be very, very cautious about this, right? And it doesn't allow me to trade in equities. It only allows me to trade in currency, futures, things that I really wasn't proficient in. I like trading stocks. I like trading equities. That's what I like trading to do. But I applied the same ideas behind it. Trading currencies. Trading Bitcoin, which if anybody knows, it's not the smartest thing. So I take this account and this quote-unquote test, testing period, and I grow it by, I forget what it was. It wasn't a lot. It was maybe, I signed up for a quote-unquote $50,000 or $100,000 test. I'm up like $7,000, and I've got to be up $10,000. And then I take a drawdown. And my thought is that, I'm up $7,000, so I'm at $107,000. Great. I go down, I take a massive drawdown, about $3,000 or $4,000, I forget exactly it. My account gets closed off. I go, what the hell? So I email them, and they're like, oh yeah, your drawdown was more than 3%. I'm like, how's that possible? I'm up 100. I'm up 7. Take away 3. I'm still up 4. And they're like, no, it's 3 from any point. I go, what? You know, so that's what made me think. I'm like, wow, that's insane. That you're gonna tell me, even though I made 7, I'm down to 4 now. That I'm losing. I got my account. I failed the test. That doesn't make sense. I'm up 4. I should still be able to have a chance to make this work. So I started reading into all these retail prop trading firms, and don't take my word for it. Read them. And one thing I started noticing is that not only are they simulated, okay, in the quote unquote testing period, they're simulated throughout. There is no live trading that actually happens if you pass this quote unquote testing phase. You're always trading on a simulated account. Now, I know simulated accounts exist because you can buy the data, and then once you take that data, you can put it into any mechanism that you want to, Thinkorswim or whatever, Lightspeed. It doesn't matter. You can take that simulated data and put it in anything you want. Now, having said that, you can also manipulate simulated data. If you don't want somebody to pass, it's very easy to give people poor execution on it. And that's what happens a lot of times. Now, think about this for one reason, okay? Think about this truly, that if I'm going to go somewhere, whether it's sports handicapping or sports betting, cards, a casino, or the stock market, okay? And the stock market should be a one-to-one game, you know what I'm saying? An equal sum game. Someone wins, someone loses. That's what it is. In the real market, there's a buyer and a seller, and they match up. And that's where you have the zero-sum game, and then the market maker is in between, making a little bit here, there, everywhere, and probably making more than anybody always, right? Now, if I'm executing trades and I'm supposedly making a profit, but none of those trades are actually real money trades. None of them are actually getting executed with a seller or a buyer on the other side. Where are my quote-unquote profits coming from? The losses, yeah, it doesn't make a difference. A loss is a loss is a loss, so that doesn't make a difference. But where do my profits come from? My profits at that point, they're not coming from the other side of the trade. It just doesn't exist. So the retail proprietary or prop trading firm is covering your losses. So covering your wins. So if you actually are able to cash out pass the testing phase and then get a live account and then become a live quote-unquote trader for them, okay, at that point, whether you make 1,000, 500, 2,000, 3,000, whatever it's going to be, okay, it's coming out of their pocket. And where does the revenue come from? It's been proven 100 times over is that they pay out based on everybody losing. All those testing phases is how they make their money. Every single bit of it. So if you think about this for 1 second, okay, if I'm covering the other side of the trade on a win, all right, I'm keeping the losses, all right, what am I hoping for? Am I hoping for you to be successful? Of course not. Now, they quote unquote share with you in the profits. Yeah, they might share in the profits because they don't want to give you 100%, but they're not sharing with you in the losses, you know what I'm saying? Because you're the one losing and they're not. So, all this thing about, oh yeah, we share with you, you're not sharing. Bottom line is that no trades are ever executed, and it's really just a video game that you're playing. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar. There was a company called Surge Trader a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, And this is what really made us think about this, is that in approximately 2 years, they had almost 200,000 people, quote unquote, try to take their initial testing phase. Out of that, they netted out over $112 million. That's honestly, it's really disgusting that people would do that, and allow people to fall for something like that. You're trying to build something up, you're trying to catch a dream, and you're trying to build on it, and here you are stacked against you. And it was just a pure scam. That's all it was. So we came up with the idea that instead of having people really go there and say, you know what, let me have a pipe dream and buy a lotto ticket for $700. You know what? Actually, why don't you really learn how to trade? And why don't you really learn to be disciplined, and that this is not going to be a 30-day turnaround? Your life is going to change. Today's society is so built on the fact that in 28 days you can change who you are. Well, you know what? Maybe you can, but we've always believed, in my generation and past generations, it takes a lifetime to create habits, and it takes a lifetime to build something. And we're here to show you what we've done, how we've done it, with what leverage we've done it. And you know what? Stay the course, be patient, and really understand what you're doing. And don't have any pipe dreams or any pie in the sky delusions. You're going to go there, you're going to try to make something happen. With us, what we're there for is to show you that there's a community out there that truly believes that if you stay the course, you can grow together. And that's why when we point out, the journey that we're on, this is my idea of the journey, okay? 200 days, take $3,000 and go to $139,000. I've done it before. All of us have done that before. We've done it, we've looked at it, and we said, okay, fine, this is how we're going to do it. Okay, let's show somebody if they want to come for the ride. We'll put all the videos up there, good, bad, or indifferent, and we should be able to make it. That's what we've said. Along the way, like I said, are there going to be good days and bad days? Yeah, you've got to limit the bad days, no two ways around it. Now, you look at this schedule here of where we want to be. We made 636 last week. Is that life-changing? Not in anybody's book. Not in anybody's book, unless, you really have no money. But 636, yeah, it's a good week. You made 21% on your money year to date, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely made more interest than if you kept it in the bank. No two ways around it. Now, could that have been 2%? Yeah, it could have been 2%. Could it have been negative 5%? Yeah, 100%. No doubt about it, okay? But here's where you have to look at it, is that our target goal in the beginning is $60 a day, a realistic number, 2%. Okay, we're not looking for 600 a day or 6,000 a day. We're looking for $60 a day. All right, and where you have to have the patience is when you start to get to day 90. Okay, at that point, your account should have grown to about $15,000. Will it be 10? Will it be 16? Will it be 12? It could be anywhere. But based on 2% a day, it should be right about $15,000, $16,000. At that point, our target is only $316 a day. And guess what? At that point, now your leverage amount is almost $400,000. So you're trying to make $300 essentially off of $400,000. But that 2%, again, is coming off your $15,000 in risk capital. Now, that's why we say it takes patience. That's 90 days of trading. That's almost 4 months of trading. It's not 30 days in a month. It's only about 20, 22. So it's about 4 months of trading. Where we start to get into it, where you start looking at it and start saying, okay, fine, this is starting to make sense, It's not at the 90-day level. The 90-day level is 316. The next day, if you did the 316, now your goal is 322, 329, 336, slow and steady. Now, are you going to go up a little bit more than that? Possibly. Are you going to go down a little bit more than that? Possibly. You know what I'm saying? This is just basically where you should be, okay? Where it starts to make sense is roughly about day 150. Day 149, day 150. That's going to be about 7 months into your journey. Around 7 months, you will have hopefully understood the methodology between what we do, okay? Hopefully at that point, you will have grown your account to about $50,000, which is a huge amount for a lot of people. To take $3,000 and go to $50,000, it's a monster scenario, okay? But if you've applied this for the last 150 days, or the theory, the logic, the stops, everything, okay? If you've been able to apply that, you're still looking for 2%. That's all you're doing for. You're not looking for that greed. And we've all been there. As a trader, we've all had where we're like, oh, I want to make 10 grand today. I think I can do 5 grand today. I'm going to bump it up to 4 grand. We've all had that where it's all greed and fear. That's all this is. But we know you have to have that mindset. What is my goal? My goal is $1,000 today. How do I do that? Well, at that point, you're going to know what your share size is going in. It's the same principle as making $60. And by making that $60, you start to learn what the principles are, and you start to understand what your entry and your exit is. And now it's basically taking that same mindset, and applying it down to bigger numbers. And the reason we go up so small is that, guess what? You might be only trading 50 shares here, 20 shares here, whatever it might be. Down here, you're going to be trading 200 shares, 10 times the amount. Or 300 shares, 30 times the amount. That's all it is. You're slowly clicking it up and say, okay, yesterday I traded 300 shares to start off with. I'm going to go to 320 here. Stay at 330, 340, depending on the stock, obviously, that's where the mathematics come into it. But you're taking it out and you're using the leverage the right way. And then if you do it correctly, like I said, that's why it's 200 days. That's why, because in 200 days, you're roughly looking at about a year. And in a year's time, are you going to be at $139,000? Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But I can promise you this much, okay? You're going to be a lot better off than when you started. At the end of the year, after you take everything out of consideration, your target market, your target price, you're going to have $139,000. You might have taken money out of that account. That's your money. You do whatever you want with it. You want to take out $100,000 and go buy a car? Be my guest. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have kept the whole thing in there. Now your target is $2,700 a day. That's what you want to do. And maybe, you know what? At that point, you're like, you know what? That's too much risk for me. I want less risk. I only want to do $1,300 a day. That's all I want to do. 1%, okay, at $1,300 a day. Because now you have $3.5 million worth of leverage. 1%, you can fire off bullets till you're blue in the face, okay? As long as you're doing the right scenario, all right? And you know what? That's where it makes a lot of sense. So, hopefully you look at it and you say, yeah, this makes sense. And we're here for the journey for you. And that's where we're trying to make sure that everybody all together understands where we're coming from, okay? And again, go to 25X Trading. Take a look at our videos. See what we're all about. Get information about it. Try us out absolutely risk-free. Go to the simulated trading. See what you think about it and see if it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, the goal behind this was to make the barrier to entry so much lower, but to make sure that we give people the real true experience to actually be successful. You know, we're here to help people. We're not here to hurt anybody. So, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us out an email. Leave us a message. Thank you.